is there such a person as Jimmy out there? Is Jimmy there?
Yes. Hello, Mr. Grant.
Yes.
We've been hearing a lot lately about cyber attacks and people penetrating computer systems. So Interpol, the International Police Force, hired a guy named Yevgeny Kaspersky. He's with Kaspersky Labs. They're going to set up a system to prevent outside people from penetrating the Interpol computer networks. What's interesting about this is anybody who's going to be setting up this type of system is probably going to be able to plant things, if he so desires, plant viruses, maybe see some of the secret information, because Interpol is tied in with most of the world's intelligence agencies, so their databases and databanks are all connected. The problem with Interpol hiring Yevgeny Kaspersky is a former KGB agent, and then he went on to work for the FSB. In other words, a foreign enemy agent is going to be now in charge of protecting Interpol's computers and data banks and databases.
It figures.
This is you could make all kind of analogies, like a child molester being in charge of daycare, a mafia in charge of our banking system. This is extremely serious potential for danger here. And then I also found out that the guy who heads Interpol is a former Clintonista, a guy named Ron Noble, who used to work for the Department of Treasury. So you could just imagine the potential danger that could happen here from foreign enemy agents in charge of protecting the International Police Force's data banks, which are tied in with most of the world's data banks. Mr. Grant, it's absolutely incredible. But also something related but different. The other day on TV, Monica Crowley said, the radical left captured our schools because they know that this is the future of America and they could influence and control America by indoctrinating our youth. Now, you add this with the host another host at this station warning about the Institute for Policy Studies, KGB Front Group. Another host is now warning about the threat from Russia and China. And recently, several national security people, including some of Reagan's people, are warning about mutual assured destruction won't stop radical Muslims from using nuclear weapons against us, as it did with the Soviets. This is very interesting, Mr. Grant, because this is what we've talked about on your show for almost a quarter century. So some people are starting to see it. I don't know that they see that this is all connected, because when I said the Soviet Union didn't really collapse and we didn't win the Cold War, I said under the guise of collapse, they're going to arm Iran, Iraq, Syria, Libya with mutual assured destruction weapons, weapons of mass destruction, and it's part of a plan. So I don't know that people see the bigger picture as I've been saying it. I've never patted my back on your show. I've never bragged or anything about being right when everybody else missed it. But I do want to say I think I did a pretty good job for a guy who never got past the 10th grade of high school.
I guess you have always been interested in foreign affairs.
I started studying communism about 45 years ago when I was a kid. I was always interested in it. I had friends who were from families who fled the Soviet Union, or they were victims of the Nazis and the communists. And then I met a lot of communists, and I've been attending meetings. I've been reading their publications.
Yeah, I know about the publications you sent me.
You know,
you were right. You said they've attacked me in the communist press.
They don't like you because you allow people like me and others to call up. Besides your beliefs and your understanding, who else could call up and report on enemy operations? Nobody could call. You can't get past the screeners and the censors at all the other shows. And now you have it where you have West Point think tank is warning about the threat that comes from American patriots. Janet Napolitano of Homeland Security is warning about the threat to America from American veterans and patriots. The U.S. Army had a seminar where they're warning about the threats from American patriots. And now psychiatrists are warning about the threat from people who see patterns and talk about connecting the dots. So the psychiatric group are going to be targeting people like me, like they did in the Soviet Union. Anybody who doesn't conform and follow the Marxist mind control, political correctness, is going to be considered to be and diagnosed to have some sort of mental disorder.
Oh, yeah, that's the tried and true formula, Jimmy, right?
Exactly, and that also silences people. I mean, when you threaten people, it's censorship through ridicule. So they have that way to censor people.
You know,
But
Jimmy, the other night, I wanted to take a vacation from the junk that we are forced to see on television. So I saw Double Indemnity. I saw a movie with Paul Newman made in 1950, and I'll have to make this very quick. I realized that a lot of the people who were writing the dialogue were people like Maltz, remember Maltz, and a few other individuals who were very sympathetic to the Soviet Union because they themselves were communists. Anyway, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I've enjoyed this hour more than you could possibly imagine, and I thank you very much for making it what it has been and will continue to be. 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 Has been and